There we go. Okay, so welcome everybody to Core 101 session. We host these every few months, and we also record them. So if you need to catch up later, you can totally watch the recording or you can come to another live I think our next one's in December. This event is hosted by the Core Alberta platforms. So that includes Core Alberta, Core BC, and Core National. I'm representing Healthy Aging Alberta, which hosts the Core Alberta platform. And my colleague Laura here is representing United Way of British Columbia, which represents the British Columbia and national platforms. So we're happy to have you with us today, and hopefully we can give you some more information on how to use the platform. Okay, there we go. So first I'll start with a land acknowledgement here. And in the spirit of our journey to promote reconciliation, we'd like to honor the truth of the shared history and acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who have lived in and cared for these lands for generations. We are grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today, and for those who have gone before us. And I'm tuning in from Mohkinstsis, which is Calgary, Alberta, and I'm tuning in from Treaty 7 territories, which is the traditional land of the Blackfoot Confederacy, including the Kainai, Piikani, and Siksika nations, as well as home to the Yahe Nakota and the Dene from the Tsuut'ina nations. So I'd like to recognize the nations there, and I'm also tuning in from Métis Region 5 and 6. So just some housekeeping. If while we're presenting, just keep yourself muted, and then we'll have some question times here to answer everybody's questions, and you're welcome to turn on or off your video. It's up to you. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the chat, you can comment, you can raise your hand, and we will have some question time here for you to answer your questions. We are also, there's the chat the button there. And I know some of you are tuning in via phone, so we will make sure to have that time there so that if you don't have access to the chat, you can also verbally ask your questions. We are recording it, so we'll load it later to the Core Alberta platform and the Core BC and Core National platforms, as well as our respective YouTube channels, so that if you do need to watch it again, if you can't remember everything, because we're going to talk about a lot of things, you have the opportunity to check out those recordings afterwards. So quick intro of who we are. So like I mentioned, I'm representing Healthy Aging Alberta. So Healthy Aging Alberta is a rich network of community-based senior serving organizations across Alberta, and we're united by a shared vision to make Alberta one of the best places in the world to grow older. So I know a lot of you folks are familiar with our work in this room, and I've seen some of your faces before in different things. But our main goal is coordinating the community-based senior serving sector in Alberta to connect and collaborate on those common issues, strengthen the sector with capacity building, and amplify the voice of the sector. So we're building out the structure that connects us to increase our collective impact. So by building that network that connects the sector organizations and coordinating that and that broader sector, I'm stumbling over my words today, that broader network weaving, we can have that greater collaboration and really help identify priority areas and where there are gaps in service in the province so that we can together advocate for better services for older adults, and our province is better resourced and enhanced. And we have a few different programmatic initiatives. So we're leading initiatives in social prescribing, rural transportation, home and community supports. And this map, you can see our different locations of funded initiatives for the transportation, home and community supports, and the social prescribing. It doesn't actually include the phase 2 transportation on this map. So we do have some more than that. We're also doing some Alberta-wide systems mapping. We're doing a equity, diversity, inclusion strategy. We have some workforce planning strategy, and we're building out the healthy aging framework as well as a digital tool to support your work there. So if you're from Alberta, I'm sure you've been notified of some of these initiatives at some point. And we're guided by a community leadership council of 12 community-based senior serving and retired representatives that are helping guide this work. Okay, I'll pass it over to my colleague Laura here.
Great, thank you very much, Stephanie. And so my name's Laura Ketawaki, and I work for United Way, British Columbia. And so as those of you in BC would be familiar with, United Way BC works very closely with the CBSS sector and has a lot of healthy aging programs across the province. Some of the key areas that we currently work in are first of all, we have our flagship program, Better at Home, which is present in many communities across BC and provides non-medical home support services. And that program's delivered locally by community-based senior services. We also have other community-based senior services grants for additional healthy aging programs. We provide support for sector strengthening initiatives such as Project Impact Healthy Aging, where we teach organizations how to do developmental evaluations, and other initiatives to build the capacity of the CBSS sector. We also have a strong community engagement arm of our work as well. We have a CBSS Leadership Council, and then also we have our regional consultations that we hold fairly regularly, as well as events such as our Provincial Summit on Aging, which is coming up in November. So there's a lot of work to engage with the CBSS sector. And then we also do work around research and knowledge mobilization, and that includes, of course, our Core BC platform and newsletter. The next slide. And so we do have agencies that we work with from across the province. And so this is a map of our grants from 2024 and 2025 for the granting cycle. And so you can see our reach is pretty extensive. We have programs in all of the health regions in BC and most of the communities. Better at Home in particular is fairly ubiquitous, and there's a lot of Better at Home programs. And then we also have our social prescribing programs that are being rolled out and eventually will be in every local health area where we'll have a community connector. And then we have other programs as well, such as family and friend caregiver support, TAPS, some enhancement grants for activities such as social meals or volunteers or transportation, our navigation and peer support program, and our digital learning program. So overall, we have, I think it's about 175 or so programs across the province. Next slide. All right, and so now on to talking about Healthy Aging Core. So Healthy Aging Core is a provincially and nationally coordinated learning platform, and it's really designed to support and strengthen the community-based senior services sector and be an area where you can come for the latest information and news from the sector, to access training and mentoring resources, to engage with other members of the CBSS sector, and then to attend webinars and other learning events. So CORE is a multifaceted platform, and it has a lot of resources and really is meant to be kind of a one-stop shop for the CBSS sector. And there are currently 3 Healthy Aging Core websites in our network. So we have Healthy Aging Core Alberta, we have Healthy Aging Core BC, and then we also have the National Healthy Aging Core Canada. And you can see the listed backbone organizations on the side. All right, and that's just a picture showing the different Healthy Aging Core platforms that we have. And so one of the things that you'll notice for the platforms is that they all have a very, very similar layout and design. There are some slight variations, but overall, if you know how to navigate one of the websites, you'll be able to navigate the others. So that's why for this training today, we're doing it together, Core BC and Core Alberta. And of course, Core Canada is also pretty much the same as well. So what you learn today, you'll be able to apply to other sites as well if you want to join Core Canada, and you're only on Core BC currently, then when you go to Core Canada, it's actually very similar. All right, next slide. And so just to note about who can be a core member. So we're open pretty much to anybody. So primarily we do get a lot of CBSS staff or volunteers who join our website. We also have different allied systems partners, for example, people from the healthcare sector or local government. People are interested in being a part of a provincial knowledge hub. And of course, you need to have an email, but pretty much anyone can join. One caveat that I'll give, though, is that the website isn't intended for seniors who are specifically looking for services, because we don't have up-to-date information, for example, on where the best place would be to access information and referral or transportation or other things like that. So for seniors who are looking for services, other resources or websites such as 211 services or your local CBSS organization or other places would probably be a better fit for them to get information. All right, and so now we're going to visit the platform and do a demonstration of some of the different features. So Stephanie's just setting up her screen share so that we can see some of the features on Core Alberta. And as I mentioned before, even though she'll be showing on Core Alberta, everything's pretty much applicable for Core BC and Core Canada. Oh, and you're muted, Stephanie.
Sorry, folks. Okay, here's the core platform, and hopefully it's explained properly for you. So right now I'm just on Core Alberta, but as Laura mentioned, we have the three, and you'll notice that at the top bar here, there's easy way to toggle between them. So if I wanted to jump to Core BC or Core National, I can just quickly jump between the three platforms at the top there. And as you can see, they're set up very similarly otherwise. So you're able to navigate the different ones. Also, there is now, so if you've been with us for a while, this wasn't an option before last year. The other thing we have is you can switch it into completely into French if it wants to let me do it. Why aren't you working, Core? Just gonna switch around. I don't know why. Okay, for some reason BC doesn't want to switch to French today. But you'll notice the little globe in the top. You can toggle between French and English for the platform there. And that's kind of a relatively newer function. You'll also notice once you're logged into the platform, now you don't need to have a membership to use the platform. You can access pretty much almost everything on the platform without a membership. However, if you want to participate in group work or you want to post content yourselves, then you need to have the free core membership. So when you are logged in to your core membership after you've set up a profile, you'll have the option here to post new resources, new events, new trainings, discussions, funding opportunities, news, and programs. So there'll be that option up there. You'll also have a notification center that lets you know if somebody's posted something in one of your groups that you're part of. And you'll have a chat function that you could have some conversations with other members in the page. You'll also have here, you'll have your account, which you can go to and you can update your information at any time. That's where if you need to change your password, you could change your notification settings. If you change emails, you can update your email there or your description. So those are some of the different things you can change in that area. Now on the homepage has a little snapshot of a little bit of everything. So it shows some of the recent news that's been posted, some of the events that are coming up in the next week. some resources that have been recently posted. It has a little hyperlink to the groups. We have some additional hyperlinks here to things that have been tagged as toolkits or participation opportunities. If any of you are in the research world, you can always post a resource, but then you'll have to let us know that it's more specifically for this so that we can link it to that page. And then some programs initiatives. There's an about section for each of the platforms. And at the bottom, you can sign up for our newsletters, our respective newsletters there. So just by signing up to the core platform doesn't automatically sign you up for that. And we'll talk a bit more about the newsletters here shortly, and some additional links at the bottom. So you can definitely explore that, see what you find. We have created on the sites, we've created this core learning hub now too, so that if anytime you're forgetting some of this information that Laura and myself are giving you, we have this core learning hub on the platforms that that has some of the last videos, and it might advertise the next Core 101 session or how to link to our newsletter. So you'll see they're a little structured a little bit different on the different pages, but BC and Alberta looks relatively similar like this, that has some of the resources you need for core. Now, creating an account, I already mentioned, when you're not signed in, there will be a create account button up here. And essentially you just need to fill out some of your personal information, including your current email address, your role at your organization. Please put those in full, no acronyms, so that we have it there. Not everybody knows your acronym for your organization. And you'll see there's some regional information as well as like what service field you are in. And as soon as you enter that, we will get a notification on our end and we'll approve your profile. So usually it'll take about a day or so for us to come through and activate your profile. But yes, that's how you can get yourself an account. And once you do have an account, you can join group work and you can post content yourself. Okay, so within the group section, you'll see there's two drop downs. There's all the groups that we have on that site platform. And then if you've joined any, there'll be a short list of which ones you're a part of. So if I go to all the groups on this Alberta platform, Alberta currently has 19 groups. Laura, how many groups do the other platforms have right now? Do you remember?
I don't know that offhand, but I think we have less.
Yeah. So we have different groups on all three platforms. You are welcome to join groups on the different platforms as well. So if, for example, if you're an Alberta person and you see that National has a group that's really interesting to you, you can join those ones too. Now you'll see when you're into those groups, all three platforms operate groups a little bit differently, how they start them. But you'll see when you're in there, you'll have a variety of different groups that are on that page, and they all have a description. Some of them are closed groups. And for example, like on the Alberta platform, this Provincial Assisted Transportation Project, it's a closed group that only the folks that are being funded for the transportation initiative are joining right now because they're doing a more in-depth body of work. So you'll see that there's a different type of request, so that folks who are involved in this work, they can request, and there's somebody on the back end moderating it. And in this case, it's Jasmine who's running this project, who's moderating this content and letting those folks in the door. Other groups are called open groups, and once you click the join button, anybody can be a part of those and part of that community practice. So for example, here we have our Immigrant Senior Sector Connections or our Men's Sheds group. I know Sandy's in the room here from Men's Sheds. This group is bringing together a bunch of the different men's sheds from across the province and having a space to connect and collaborate and share information on men's sheds. So anybody who can join, who wants to be a part of that conversation, can join that. Once you're part of a group, you can see that there'll be a leave button. So you can always pop out of it if you need it anytime. I'm going to jump into the group here. So within the group field, it's very similar to how it would be on a Facebook platform or some other platform like that, that you're going to have a home page that talks a little bit about the group, features some recent posts. Discussions is where you can start a discussion on a topic. So if anybody has a discussion they want to start, they can start that discussion, and others can also comment on that same thread. So it's more of a forum feel. I don't know why it's taking so long to load for you folks. But you'll see the posting, and then you'll see the option to react to the posting, and here we go. There it is. There we go. So if I click on the posting, folks can leave their own comment. You can react to other comments on the site. Like I can react to Bacola's here. So there's an option to start those discussions on a certain thread if you want. Now, resources and events are general resources that folks want to share with others in the group, or maybe a specific resource that you folks have been talking about in that group. And you can see anybody can post a resource. You'll have the option to add a new resource when you're coming in here, and I'll show you how to do that. And then any of these resources, you can click on them. Like if I wanted to see this this session here, you can click on it, and then it'll open up the content. My internet is very slow today for whatever reason. It'll open up the content and that recording, that resource that was in there. So there's lots of different types of resources. Some of them may be toolkits or reports or videos such as this one, or downloadable content. Really, it's what folks feel is valuable to share with other folks, and anybody can post that. Events, very similar. If the group is having events, you'll be able to see what's coming up in the calendar here. So for example, I posted this one that we're doing a collaborative session next month between two of our groups, our core Alberta groups. So when you click on that, you'll be able to see the information about the event and how to register for the event there. So it has all the information you require for that. Members, you'll be able to see the other members in the group. And if, for example, if you wanted to direct message them, like I can see here, Azita is here. She's one of the group leads. I can click on her name. I can see her information here. And I can send her a message as well if I wanted to quickly send a message in the platform. And she'll get a notification when somebody sent her a message in the platform. So you'll be able to access any of your message history in your little chat box there. And you can message folks in the group platform. So we encourage you to explore what is available for the different groups on the respective platform that you're visiting. And if ever you're interested in starting a group on a certain theme, you can reach out to us and we can walk you through the process if there's a gap and you want to create a group on that. They're all led by community members, at least on the Alberta platform. They're either led by our programmatic initiatives or by community members. Okay, I'm going to skip over these few here because Laura's going to talk about them, and I'm going to jump to training and event. Oh, sorry, no, you were doing that, Laura. Sorry, I am going to go into funding. So funding, all three sites have a funding opportunities platform. And by no means is this a comprehensive list of all the funding opportunities available. We try and post opportunities that are that come across our plates when we get them. And of course, anybody can post one. When we're making a post for a funding opportunity, we also typically like to put in the title things like the regional reach. For example, you can see here on Alberta, this one's only for Edmonton folks, this one's for Red Deer folks, Calgary folks. If it's maybe a provincial-wide one like this one, or we have some Canada-wide ones here that you might see across the different sites. The other thing that I like to do is also put the deadlines in there. Because then if I want to do a quick search, it pulls up the deadlines. For example, if I just want to do a quick search by September, there's all my grants that are coming up in September here, and I can go through and see if there's something that is suitable for my organization to apply for. And there's lots of interesting ones because we get different ones from all different areas coming across here. So you might find something that you wouldn't have seen normally, which is rather nice. You can also filter by category. So for example, if I wanted to look at grants affecting First Nations and Indigenous communities here, I can search specifically for that, apply, and there we go. There are some of the ones that are specifically, they've been tagged with that, and we'll talk about how the tagging works. But whoever made the post tagged them with that so that now when it does the filter, you can find the grants specifically for that. Within each post, it's similar to the post I showed you before. It'll have some of the information and the link on where the site is that you can actually find the full application. Okay, featured programs. So under this one, we have featured programs initiatives. So if you have a program you want to share, you can make a post in here and share your content. So for example, we have the Primary Care Network in Alberta's shared their senior centers without walls. And the thing is, whenever you make a post in here, um, like this one, our utility consumer advocate, whenever they make a post, um, you will be able to edit your post as well. I didn't make this post, so I don't see the edit button here. But if I had made it, I would have a big edit button here so that if information's changed on my post or like we have a new schedule or a calendar for that, you can go in at any time and edit your posts to change that information, and you don't need to create a new post here. But that site will have some of the different programs and initiatives that are for older adults happening there. Okay, I am going to stop my share and switch it over to Laura so she can do some of the next things.
All right, great. So I'm going to share my screen now. Oh, and I'll just go to the website. Just give me 1 second. Oops, wrong button. Uh-oh. How do I close this? Oh, go to the cursor, sorry. Okay, so this is the Core BC platform. So as you can see, it looks quite similar to Core Alberta. One difference is we do have this little banner across the top, and that's for our Provincial Summit on Aging. So if you're interested in learning more about the BC Summit, you can click here and then you can find information about our upcoming summit in November. But otherwise, as you can see, the layout is pretty much exactly the same. And the features at the top are the same too. So I'm going to show you the Resources tab. So the Resources tab, I think, is my favorite tab because in there we've got a lot of different resources for you on a wide variety of topics. So you can find here things like webinars, podcasts, toolkits, reports, and other resources that would be of interest to the community-based senior services sector. Now, as we have a lot of resources here, it can be challenging, of course, to find what you want. So then we have a search feature that you can use to try and look for the specific things that you want. So there is a search box here, so you can type in a topic like caregivers, and then you can apply it, and then it would bring you any content that's relevant to caregivers. So for example, this is a video from the Alzheimer's Society, and then you can view that. We also, if you don't want to use a text search, or if you want to use a text search in combination with filters, we have other ways that you can search as well. So we have different categories of topics here that you could use, different subjects. You could look for resources that are targeted towards different audiences. You can also search by different resource types. So if you wanted to only see audio, you could click audio and then you would only visit audio resources. And then we also have a webinar button as well. So if you want to only see webinars, you can search for that. So we have a lot of different ways that you can try and filter the information then to find what you're looking for and look at our resources. We also have a training and events page, and this is where you can find information about upcoming training and events, for example, webinars, workshops, conferences, or other sorts of activities and trainings that are taking place. And you can view this as a calendar. So for example, you can see everything today that's currently happening. So we have our core training session. There's also a focus group that needs participants, and there's also a falls prevention event. So you can click on the activity and then it'll bring you to the page so that you can find more information. So for example, falls prevention, if you click here, that is a workshop that's being offered, and then you can click to register to go find more information about this workshop and register for this. So you can do calendar view and see the different events for September, and then you can scroll forward if you want and see some events coming up in October and trainings. But you can also view it a different way as well. If you prefer to not see a calendar, you can view it as a list. So then you can see upcoming training and events in October as a list. And once again, you can just click on them. And then once you click on them, you'll be able to go and see more information about the event and the link to register if you want to do so. Another tab that we have on the website is the News tab. And so this is the place where we post recent announcements, government announcements, news articles, and other information that's up-to-date news or information for the CBSS sector. So you can see here there's some different news pieces that have been posted about housing and new research and other topics. And so you can, once again, just click on the resource and then it will take you to the description of it. And you can also go directly to the news information if you like. So for example, this post talks about new long-term care homes in Surrey. And so there's a description of some of the information here, or you can go directly to the original news post by clicking here. All right, so that summarizes the resources, training, events, and news. And so one of the other things about the website is, of course, you can post your own resources, training, news, or funding opportunities yourself. And so Stephanie is going to show how we can do that.
Thank you. All right, let's jump back to the platform here on my page. All right, so when we want to make our own post, and this can be it can be content that you've created through your organization or an event that you're maybe planning, or it could even be just something you come across. Okay. So, for example, I found this resource here, this Positivity Center, that had some really interesting caring tools and videos and things like that were interesting to post. So, when I'm ready to make a post, I come to the platform here and I go plus, and that one would be more of a resource. So I'd go new resource. And first, sometimes what I like to do is make sure that I'll search in the search here and make sure nobody else has posted that if it is a common resource. And as you can see, there's nothing there yet. So that's good. That means it's good to go ahead. Sometimes if it's a general resource you've come across, somebody else might have already listed it. So you just want to do this just to make sure nobody else has put that on the platform yet. So then I'm going to have my, once I open up plus new resource, then it's going to open up a page. I already queued it up here, so let me just, there. It's going to open up a page that looks like this. So this is going to be relatively straightforward. Oh, did I post on national? Oh, I guess I must have posted on national. Okay. um, so you have the option to post on a few different sites in here. If you've signed up for the Core BC platform, when you sign up for Core BC, you'll have the option to sign up for both Core BC and Core National. So then you'll be able to post on both of those sites. If you sign up for Alberta, you'll be able to sign up for Alberta and National and be able to post on both of those sites. The two provinces, we don't, you can't sign up for those at the same time. So you'll have to do, you'll have to go to that site to sign up for the third site if you want to have all three. So whichever ones you're logged into at that time, you can post on. So right now I'm logged into BC and Alberta, or sorry, Alberta and National, which means if I tried to make one for BC, I wouldn't be able to post in right now just because I'm not logged into BC, but I would have to log in separately to that platform to be able to post there. So when you first come in, you'll see there's the option of which site to post it on. If you're posting it in a group, the resource, and it'll have the groups on that site available. You can enter a title. You'll see that as Laura and myself have navigated through that we have some common formatting that we've tried to do. And if you forget this, that's okay. But in general, we try to put, if it's a resource, a report, a video, a webinar, whatever it might be, a toolkit at the beginning here. And that's just one little extra thing that helps folks understand what it might be that you're posting on here. Then you'll see it'll ask you what type. Is it a video? Is it a website? Is it an image? So you just kind of choose the appropriate one there. The author, that would be maybe the site that posted it, like this case it was Positivity Center, or maybe there's an author of a report paper or something like that that you're putting in. Maybe it's something like CBC News. So whoever created that content. In some case, depending on if you're posting a resource or news or whatever, there might also be a section up here, like if I'm posting news, there'll be a section that says source, and that's where you can put the link there as well. Then for the middle of the post, it's a common word processing software here. So you can just do a little blurb. Often you can find that or pull it from somewhere in the content. In this case, I just took a little chunk here, something that helps folks understand what that resource is. You can hyperlink any content. So in this case, I like to always hyperlink the content as well as link the website. So you can type some text and then you can hit the hyperlink button and that allows you, oh, I just unhyperlinked it. Let me grab it again. That allows you to insert a hyperlink and add that there. You also have options to add like pictures in there or other things if you wanted, change your text colors, do some formatting. Summary, that is you want a few words here to display when you see the post. I'm just going to open one, for example. The summary is what shows, well, that's not a good example. Sorry, folks. Let's go to resources. The summary is what shows here. So it's on that opening card. So you want something that kind of gives folks a little idea of what it is when they're scrolling through, so that they can kind of have an idea more than the title of what that's about. Alternative text is the text that describes the image. So in this case, it's two people make food together. And that's for folks that might be using screen readers. The image, so you can upload a photo file that you have on your device, or sometimes what I like to do too is I will take a little screenshot of maybe something that's on the site that's related to the content, and then upload that piece. Here's where the tagging comes in. So Laura showed you a bunch of those different tagging options. So you're going to tick whichever boxes correspond with this information. And that will help that later when folks are searching for that content, if they clicked age-friendly communities, your post would come up because you had tagged it as that. So try and make sure that you're clicking the ones that are appropriate for the content and not just every single one. And that will help folks find the content easier. If you want to attach files, you can fit up to 20 megabytes of files on here. So if you have reports, if you have a bunch of images, things that you wanted to put together, you can load as many as you want. And there's an option you'll see to add different PNG, JPEGs, MP4s, PowerPoints, documents, PDFs, and it says up to 20 megabytes. So you can do that, which is really nice. And then insert each one and upload, and then you'll have them all there. I did show you a post that had an embedded video. was a webinar recording. So this is where you can embed a video like a YouTube or link and then put the title of it, and that will embed it into the post. And oh, I already have it in here. This is where I can put the website link, right? So I can put it here and the title, and I already did that, so it's already in there. But that's where I can put that link in. So just try and fill out all the things that you can, and then when you're ready, you just hit save. And you'll notice that when you're ready, it'll open up this back end for you that you can see that will have all the different areas you can post. And if I click on resources, I can see all the content that I've posted before, which is really nice. So that's how it makes it a quick way for me to edit content and go back in and change some of those posts I've done in the past. You'll only be able to see the content that you've posted, and you'll notice there's a difference in colors. So if it's white, it means it's live on the platform. If it's blue, it means it's awaiting moderation. So what happens is when you make a post, Laura and I get a notice that a post has been made, and we go through and we just proof all your content to make sure you've done everything in there, and then we publish the content for you. So this is one extra step that makes it so that you don't need to worry so much if you're like, this is my first time posting, I don't know if I'm doing it right. Don't worry, we got you. You can go through, you put your post. If we notice you're missing something like, oh, so-and-so forgot a picture on their site, we can kind of plunk that in for you or make sure that the post is going to look good on the site before we approve. This is also an extra step that we have just to ensure that there's no to remain the integrity of the content, such as we don't want any commercial sites spamming the site with a whole bunch of advertisements for, I don't know, some medication for older adults that we don't really need, right? So we just give a proof and then we publish it. So usually it takes about a day or so turnaround for that. Now, as you notice, I posted on national, and maybe I feel that this content is also good for one of the other platforms I'm on. Instead of creating a whole new post, I can just click this copy button. I can switch the platform to Alberta, and then I can hit save. And now it is live posted onto both. So now I have two of them in the queue here for both Alberta and national waiting there. And that's an easy way sometimes if you have an event that's suitable for people across Canada to visit, you can post it on the different platforms and you don't need to recreate it completely from scratch. So that's a resource. I also have an event to show. So for example, this one I found that was good for folks in the sector about building trust for nonprofit brands and a marketing type of one. I took a screenshot of this little thing and have the Zoom link. So I created a little post here. And I put the description, I put in the Zoom registration link, I put that it's online on Zoom. When you're making an event, it'll set up to the time zone that you're currently in. So you'll put the start and the end time. So you'll go through the calendar, you'll choose this was October 8th, and then you'll see the little clock here so that you can choose what time that is. So that was 11 o'clock. And then you're going to hit the select button. And then you're going to do the same for the end time, the date, the time, and hit select and get that in there. You're going to put your little picture so you can see I put my cover image. And then everything else is relatively the same. See? And then when I hit save, that event it's in there. Now, because I posted that from my site, which is showing Mountain Standard Time, if when you go onto the national site, you'll see it'll actually translate the time. So for example, if I posted this on Alberta at Alberta time, and I also cross-posted it to BC, when Laura opens that, she'll see it at BC time instead of Alberta time. So it'll show the proper time in the post, which is rather nice. And you can click on the post to see the preview of how this will look. Oh, sorry, it's not live right now. Let me grab one. Let me grab one that is live. Let me open this one. So when the post is live, you can kind of proof it, check it out, and then you'll see how it lists the time zone here. So that's a nice thing. So if you're tuning in from different parts of the country, that really helps you to make sure that it's appropriate for folks for the time zone they're in without you needing to do all that math. Okay, and then same thing, I think I'm going to copy this one onto the Alberta platform because I really actually wanted it on the Alberta platform in the first place. So I'll hit the copy button and then I'll hit save, and there we go. And now that event is on both national and Alberta. Now, if I tried to put that one on BC as well, let me try. I'm not signed into BC, so it'll probably give me a warning. And then see it says this action's unauthorized. And that's just because I haven't signed into the BC platform today. So I would have to go and sign into BC as well, and then I would be able to do that. Okay, so that's how to make a post. And as soon as your posts are approved, they'll go white and you can delete them at any time. Now I'm just going to open up my PowerPoint for us here. Can you see the PowerPoint now, Laura? Did it transition with me? Okay, perfect. So I'll just mention a few stats about the core platforms. So this is the Alberta platform, and the stats are just before the summer. I haven't pulled the most recent ones. But we are over the 2,000 mark in members, so there's lots of folks there sharing content and engaging on the platform. We have over 4,000 pieces of content on core, and that is very similar numbers between the different platforms. We're actually very similar in these numbers. On the core Alberta newsletter, we post a bi-monthly newsletter. We have close to 3,000 newsletter subscribers, and we currently have 19 core groups collaborating on key issues. So it is nice to really get your information across to a wide audience and across to a national audience too, if you're posting on the national sites. Now on the British Columbia platform, we have a similar member base, just over 2,000 members. 2,500 members. We also have close to 2,000 newsletter subscribers. So Laura will show you the schedule, but all three platforms, we pretty much run biweekly newsletters here. So that's nice that you'll get features of the content coming out, and Laura will talk to you about that. And both, or all three sites host webinars throughout the year. So some of those webinars might be led by us, by United Way British Columbia, or by Healthy Aging Alberta, and some of those might be led by the core groups as well. So there'll be a variety of events that we lead throughout the year on the platforms. I believe you were going to do this. I'll just introduce myself and then I'll switch it to Laura here. So a little bit more about me. Like I said, I'm running the Alberta platform. I'm part of the Healthy Aging Alberta team, and I'm the engagement communications specialist. So in addition to the core platform, so I do support and manage the core groups, help folks when they want to start their own group, some of the content, the email communications for the core platform. If you're having trouble with tech issues on the platform or navigating, I'm your support there. And then any other Healthy Aging Alberta communications you see coming out of our initiative, I'm usually the face behind those as well. So our LinkedIn's and our brand assets and some of our reports and different communication things there, you'll see. And I'll pass it to Laura.
Great, thanks. And then for the Core BC team, so the main people who are working to support that are myself, and then also my colleague Ravi, who does more of the actual posting and back-end work. And one of the things that we didn't show you on the website, but is there's a contact us section for all of the websites. And if you go there, there's a contact form, or there's a email that you can use to send questions that you might have if you have technical difficulties or other things like that. And then one of our team members will get that and be able to respond to you and help you with whatever you need help with. And then for Core Canada, we also have Barb McMillan, who's currently working to manage that one. And then another related platform that we all have are YouTube channels. So we host as has been mentioned, webinars and other events, and often we'll record them because people might want to look at them afterwards, or perhaps they've missed the webinar and weren't able to attend. And so if you look, you can find our YouTube channel. So this is the Healthy Aging Alberta one, and there you can find different videos and webinars and other recordings. And then next slide. There's also the BC YouTube channel as well, so you can access our webinars and recordings there as well. But you can also find the webinars and recordings through the core platform. So if you search for a specific webinar, you can find it there, and then it will link to the YouTube video. So you don't necessarily need to go to the separate YouTube channel unless you want to. All right, and then talking about the newsletters, because one of the key features of the core platform is that we have bi-weekly or bi-monthly newsletters that we use to update you on the latest information about core and the CBSS sector, because we know not everyone is necessarily going to have time to go on core every day to check out what might be there. So the newsletter is a really great way to get communications about what's happening in the CBSS sector. So things like new grant calls or events or other things like that. And then also it highlights a lot of the new content on core. So we'll feature new funding opportunities or resources or other things that have been posted to core. So I would highly recommend you sign up for the newsletters. And as Stephanie has mentioned previously, if you sign up for the core website, you're not automatically signed up for the newsletter. So you do need to sign up separately. And so in that case, I would encourage you to do that. And then each of the platforms does have their own separate newsletter. So in that case, if you sign up for BC, you might also want to sign up for Alberta or national because they do have different content in their newsletters. So if you think it might be useful or applicable to you, you can sign up for those other newsletters as well. And so, yeah, the newsletters are a great resource, and I encourage you to sign up if you haven't done so yet. Okay, so we're at the very end of our presentation now, and we'd love to take any questions that you might have for us about the core platform. So feel free to unmute yourself if you want to ask the question verbally, or we can also take questions in the chat as well.
And before I stop sharing, I'm just going to quickly show you the slide. We have our contact information there. info@healthyagingalberta.ca links to me, and Canada@healthyagingcore.ca links to Laura. But as Laura mentioned, the contact is also available on the contact page of CORE. So I'm just going to mention that before we take off the screen share. All right. Does anybody have any questions about the platform? Platforms, plural. Quiet bunch. We must have given you all the information you needed. If you do have questions that come up after, we'll answer whichever questions you have right at this moment. But if you do have them coming up after, again, you can contact us and reach out to us, as well as we've recorded the session. So if you need to refresh your brain on what happened and, oh, what did they say on this? We will have the recording going out soon.
Did you have a question, Brenda?
No, I just wanted to say thank you. Lots of great information. I think it'll be, for me, more a national, will help me definitely navigate the website, that's for sure. And also to get lots of information from your websites as well. So thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I'm glad that you found this useful.
Yeah, thank you, Brenda. Oh, I would like to mention that I didn't mention it was when I was on the group page, but I know, Brenda, you were tuning in from, I believe, New Brunswick, you said?
Yes.
Yes. So on the Alberta page, most of our groups are a little bit more Alberta based, but we do have one group that is that's national, and that's our intergenerational linkages group. So sometimes on those pages, you'll see groups that are doing work outside of the regional areas as well.
Great. No, that's wonderful. I was in just briefly looking at the national website, so that's great. I'll be able to navigate through there, but also to be able to, um, obtain some of your resources as well. Great, thanks.
Yeah, wonderful. And it's nice, even if you are from a regional area such as Alberta or BC, it's nice to visit the national because we have groups on there such as the Tech Hub that has all this plethora of tech resources to help support older adults trying to navigate tech and scams and fraud and and things like that. So there are sometimes some interesting things on the different sites that might not be on the regional sites.
Thanks.
Thank you. Well, if nobody else has any questions, we wish you all a wonderful day. Please do our survey to let us know your feedback. I put the link in the chat there, and we'll send you out the recording after it's done. But otherwise, thank you everyone for attending our event and have a wonderful rest of your day.